for opportunity to be able to share lots of values to the FBOs who've joined the session. For those who don't know me, my name is Mercy. I'm a manager in the business, and I'm going to be taking you through back to basics. Especially if you're a new person getting started in the business, this session will really be helpful to equip you with the knowledge of the daily activities that you need to do to ensure that you're successful in business. In any case, you're an FBO, just a few reminders of what we need to do on a daily basis in order to ensure that we get to build successful businesses. So I hope I'm clear. So I got to share these tips in the last masterclass. And of course, it's great getting to share on Zoom because not everyone made it to join the masterclass that happened last month. So I hope we are all set with our books and pens to write down these key points that I'll be sharing. So let me share my screen so that we can start off. Okay, so I hope you can all get to see my screen. Yes, so and maybe if you're a guest, you can share where you're joining from. Pale kwa chat box, maybe you can chat where you're joining from this session. So let me just do something. Slideshow. Okay. So I hope my screen is clear on your end. Yes, so the topic is back to basics. And as I get to share some tips in regards to this, I'll also get to share my key takeaways from the managers convention. So this past February, a couple of us managers were able to travel to South Africa for the convention that happened. And we really got to learn a lot here. So you're in for a treat. So we can get started. Yes, so Emmanuel, you can help me on your end to mute people when they join in. So we can start off. So what do we mean by basics? This is basically a combination of activities that you get to do on a daily basis in order to be able to tick the goals that you've set out. It could be monthly goals, it could be weekly goals, it could be annual, it could be quarterly goals. Yes, I hope you can hear me now. So as we usually get to say, to be able to achieve that big thing, it always starts with a 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. So that 1 represents those daily activities that you need to do. And we have our daily success blueprint that is outlined in our planner book. Our managers earlier this year got to launch an amazing planner book that can help each one of us to build a successful business. In any case, you've not gotten yours, kindly get yours. It's an amazing book that gives you positive pressure to ensure that every day you're ticking the activities that you need to do. So these daily activities include the 7 out of 7 and the 8 out of 8. And if you focus on being consistent in these activities, you'll find that eventually you'll get to tick those goals that you set for yourself, yeah? Instead of focusing on the scoreboard, yeah? Focusing on what you can control, that being the activities that will lead to the success. So the 7 out of 7 and the 8 out of 8 usually revolve around the basic everyday activities. It's just around the 4 key things we usually say: using the products, recommending the products, building a team, coaching your team, attending trainings, and most importantly, your own personal development. Yeah. And as we continue on, I'll be covering each one of them, each of these activities. So we can start off with the morning routine, the 7 out of 7. So the morning routine basically is a set of activities that you get to do in the morning before embarking on the day's activities. We usually say that you cannot pour from an empty cup. So that time that you get to pour into yourself is usually in the morning when you get to, develop yourself one way or another. So let's break down the different activities one can get to do in the morning. Of course, there is prayer, starting your day with the Almighty God, because this sets the right tone for your day, because you've involved God. Unajua, we usually say that there's those things which we cannot see and God can see. Yeah. Take an example, maybe God forbid, bad things that may tend to happen during a day. If you dedicate your day to God, of course, you're sure that God will get to protect you and your business from things that you're not able to see. And also, on the other hand, he can get to bless the work of your hands, so that you get that you're getting good results from the effort that you're putting in. So there is really a lot of benefit that comes with this. Yeah. And also, because with our kind of business entrepreneurship, generally, we say it's not an easy path. Sometimes you find that we need strength to keep going amidst the no's, because you see, no's are always constant in our kind of business. So getting that strength comes from God, favor with people, because most of the time we're dealing with strangers when we're sharing the products, the opportunity. So your favor inatoka from the Almighty God. So this is really, really important. And then, of course, now there is self-development. Yeah. Self-development is where, of course, you get to empower yourself, and empowering your team begins with yourself, because when you empower yourself with knowledge, you're able to pour out that knowledge to your team. Vile tu nimesema, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So ensure that your self-development is all rounded, as well as targeted to help improve on areas of weaknesses. So what I mean by this is your self-development can be targeted towards the business bit, developing your skills on talking to people, closing orders, finding prospects. Your self-development also can be tailored towards emotional intelligence. Maybe if you find you're the kind of person that emotions really get to you because of the ups and downs of the business, your self-development can be tailored towards finances, how to properly manage your money, so that when you get profits, you get to see where exactly it goes to. It could be spiritual, also self-development. It could be mental, being able to develop that mental toughness to keep you going in our kind of business, all that. Yeah. So it's up to you to decide whether you can do different self-developments on different days, or maybe you can focus on one specific thing in a week, then the next week you focus on something entirely different. That can be up to you to get to decide. Yeah. Yes, so moving on swiftly, we have mindset training. Like I've mentioned, with our kind of business, because of its ups and downs, you need to develop yourself mentally in such a way that even when you encounter those challenging moments, you don't take a break from your business. You're able to maneuver through the ups and downs that get to come. And just to share a few examples of mindset training that we can get to do on YouTube, we have somebody called Ben Lionel Scott. You can check out his videos. They're really, really amazing. We have healthy mindset. We have fearless motivation. Those are just a few examples among many that we usually have. Yeah. We have Les Brown. We have nimesahau huyu mtu, nimesahau jina yake, but we have many people that you can get to check out their content pale on YouTube, or maybe TikTok, or wherever you're usually active to build that mental toughness. Yeah. And the importance of mindset training is you find that you're able to withstand the challenging times that come. Sometimes the difference between those people who give up and those who keep pushing is the mental toughness that you've been able to build all through. So for somebody who's not been able to build mental toughness, if they find too many challenges, it's easy for them to give up. But for you who's exercised your brain, yeah, yani kuna ile muscle umeweza kubuild, you're able to withstand all that. Yeah. And for self-development, just going back, self-development, a few key examples you can check out include Grant Cardone, we have Dan Locke, we have Eric Worre, we have Fraser Brooks. Those ones mostly are inclined to our kind of industry, that is retailing, recruiting, and there are many others in the spiritual sector. For emotional, there's a book called Emotional Intelligence. I can't remember the author right now, but you can always get to search pale on Google, or even on the streets. You can easily find that book. There's a book called The 45-Minute Presentation that is really good in terms of building a team, how you can successfully build a team. We have Your First Year in Network Marketing also. This is good, especially for somebody who is starting off the business. We have Rise of the Entrepreneur to build up that entrepreneurial mindset. Yeah. Yes. Then we have number 4, the goal script. So this is generally a piece of paper or somewhere that you've written down the goals that you're looking forward to achieve. These goals can either be daily, can be weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually. So reading your goals each and every day is really important, because it gives you a sense of focus, yeah, and urgency also towards what you're working for. We usually say in our kind of business, no one is your boss, your upline is not your boss. What we term as your boss in our kind of business are the goals that you're running for. Yeah. So when you wake up each and every day and you read the goals that you're going for, it will always keep you excited and focused. And maybe to give you an example of how you can set up your goal script, first thing, you need to write down your goals, the goals that you're going for. Of course, goals need to be specific, they need to be measurable, accurate, realistic, and time bound. Yeah, they need to be that detailed. Yeah, for example, if it's a vacation, where exactly, being specific, where exactly is it? Measurable, how much would it cost you to pay for yourself a vacation hookup? And then time bound, when would you want to do so? So when you write that down, when you write that goal down that clearly and you're able to read it, it can also help to visualize that goal into reality. The second thing is, what are you willing to commit to? This is where now you write down those habits that you're committed to focus on a daily basis to help you to tick the goals that you're running for. Yeah. The other thing, the third thing to include in a goal script, what are you willing to give up on? This is where now the bad habits that possibly you feel you have, you can write them down in a bid to get to control them. Yeah, because these are things that you're willing to give up on. Maybe it could be a lot of sleep, it could be watching too much TV, it could be you're willing to give up on comparing yourself with other people, things like that. Then the fourth thing that you can write, how will you feel having achieved that goal? This is more or less helping you to visualize the end result. You'll feel proud of yourself, you'll feel grateful, you'll feel thankful to God. Write it down and read it in your goal script. Also, there are those people who can include how you'll feel having not achieved the goal, but this depends. Maybe if you find when you write that down, it can give you fuel to work towards your goals, well and good. Yeah. So just to repeat, that last one is how you'll feel having not achieved the goal. So your goals, what you're willing to commit to achieve the goals, what you're willing to give up on, and how you'll feel having achieved the goal, or how you'll feel having not achieved the goal. Yes, and then we have daily affirmations. These are positive, encouraging statements that you repeat to yourself to promote positive thinking, to improve on your self-esteem, and counter negative thinking. So maybe I can give you an example of an affirmation that can counter negative thinking. So maybe you may say currently you have a weakness of keeping time. So instead of confessing to yourself that you don't keep time, you can set an affirmation that says, I'm happy and grateful now that I'm building up a punctuality habit. Yeah, that one will help to set your mind towards that. So itafika point when you're starting off maybe with that affirmation, you may feel as though you're lying to yourself, but eventually it comes to a point where it builds your esteem around that thing, and also you level up to be that kind of person, because there's no way you can be telling yourself that you're working towards being punctual, then 1 month down the line, if you're not punctual, you don't feel some type of way. Kuna vile tu itakusaidia ku build up to that person that you want to be. Also, another thing about affirmations is that it can be all rounded. Affirmations don't have to be only one thing. Like if it's retailing, they don't have to only be about retailing. It can be affirmations of physical, looking good. Physical inaweza kuwa emotional, I'm emotionally intelligent, inaweza kuwa spiritual, inaweza kuwa business, inaweza kuwa finances, I am a money magnet, inaweza kuwa prospecting, I attract the right prospects. So all that, yeah. For the affirmations, you can write down the affirmations zenye ungetaka kujiambia kila siku, or maybe you can check out pale YouTube affirmations that you can tell yourself to improve on that. Yeah. Okay, then as we finish off, there is a working out. Simply put, this is exercising. Yeah, so exercising helps to promote optimal wellness by encouraging an active lifestyle. Yeah, and especially because in our kind of industry, we are health and wellness coaches. You want to walk the talk. Yeah. If you're telling your clients that they need to be fit, yourself, you need to be fit. Yeah. If you're telling your clients they need to have an active lifestyle, you cannot be the kind of person when you're unakaa chini the whole day. You also have to practice what you talk, because when you get to do this, you find that even your level of authority in advising somebody inakuwa higher as compared to somebody who does not literally do anything and they advise the client. Yeah. Yes. Then working out also does not have to be necessarily because of losing weight. You can just be working out to have that energy, that good feeling, the energy flowing, and also just maybe to strengthen your core and all that, maintaining your physical wellness, hiyo mambo yote, yeah. Yes, then using the products is the last one and very important. Becoming your own best customer is really important, yeah. For us FBOs, of course, and also the guests who are starting off the business, because what you get to use, there is that belief you'll have. And when you're recommending, you're not recommending from a point of theory only. You're recommending also from a point of practicality, that you've used this product, imekusaidia hivi na hivi na hivi, and it builds your integrity. Yeah. So take an example, you recommending something that you've used versus you recommending a product that you've never used. You'll find that ile yenye umetumia, there is that confidence you have. So for every order that you place, you can add a product to the order for your own use. You don't have to, if maybe your capital does not allow, you don't have to start with all of them, but you can start from somewhere, then you go increasing on the ranges that you get to use. Also, the other benefit of using is there is the discount you enjoy, and the case credits contribute to you doing your basics each and every month. So until there, if you're getting value, kindly drop some fire emojis on the chat box. So as I continue on, let me just share some of the key highlights I got from the retreat in regards to the morning routine. So growth inside fuels growth outside. Yeah, ini very, very important. This point I got from Kuchi. And it goes back to mambo tu na kuji improve as a person, working on yourself, because if you work on yourself, it will also reflect on the outside. Then our business is 80% mindset and 20% action. Yeah, vile tu huwa wanasema, like if you win in the mind, you win in reality. And the best place that you can work on your mindset is where? It's in the morning routine, because this is where you get to do your self daily affirmations, your self-development. So really, really important, yeah. And I think the reason why mindset inachukuanga a big percentage is because of the fact that if you've won in the mind, yani ni hivyo, you've won in reality. And also, when your mindset is set, your action will just flow smoothly. When your mind is set towards winning, the actions will be just in line with that which you have in your mind. Then there's a point of don't dwell, move on swiftly from disappointments. Yeah, we get to face no's in our kind of business, but now the problem would be ukishindilia hiyo no. Yeah, yani you're the kind of person mwenye ukipata no from clients, it's a topic of discussion the whole day. That's even not healthy for you and your business. Yeah, and how can you get to move on swiftly from disappointments? It boils down to how you work on yourself each and every day, because if you feed your mind with mental toughness, you'll find it easy to move away from no's. Actually, it will reach a point where you appreciate people who tell you no, because they don't waste your time. Yeah, you're able to move on swiftly. Then the other key highlight was how you think when you lose matters a lot. Yeah, ile time maybe you're rock bottom in your business, things are not working out, your mindset at that point also matters, because if your mindset is low during rock bottom, you won't go up. Yeah, but if you have a positive mindset, even though things are not working out, eventually you'll rise. Still, all this boils down to your morning routine, what you feed yourself on a daily basis. Then you can tell you're on your way to success when it's uphill all the way. So if you find that you're facing challenges, you get to know that you're closer to the prize that you're going for. And here strength ya move towards the prize in spite of those challenges that you face will come from what you feed yourself. Yeah, the self-development that you do on a daily basis will give you that strength, that toughness to push through. Then you're the driver to your own success. Yeah, so if you're the driver, if you're the key driver, then that means working on yourself should be top priority. Yeah, still going back to the 6 out of 6, then go after your goals, the money will follow. Hizo goals zenye umeandika, earning 100K, just go after them. Ask yourself, which activities do you need to do to get to 100K? Prospecting kila siku ni muhimu. Talking to new clients ni muhimu. So as long as you're focused on those activities, the money will get to come. Don't put too much focus on the money na usahau activities. Watch activities equal the main thing. Of course, once you set the goals, the activities, then the money will follow. Then always showing up and never getting tired. Even when you face challenging times, it's really, really important. And still, the showing up, the strength of showing up still boils down to you yourself. Yeah, how you work on yourself each and every day. Because if you build on your mental toughness daily, it will give you the strength to always show up. Then accidental growth is not sustainable. Yeah, ile tu yenye umegrow tu all of a sudden, itakurudisha tu back to where you belong. Yeah, but when you focus on purposeful growth, it's important, because yes, it's demanding, it's painful, because you need to shed off maybe bad negative habits, but it's necessary, because the purposeful growth will enable you to sustain the success that you get in your business. Yeah, so go through the process regardless. Hiyo growth yenye iko uncomfortable, just get to go through it till you get to where you want to. So you build your life by the words you speak. Still going back to the affirmations you tell yourself. If you have positive affirmations, the words you speak to yourself will align to the reality that you're working towards. Yes. Then a continuation of the key highlights. Acknowledge where you are and know where you're going. Yeah. If maybe you're finding kidogo your business iko chini, there is no shame in acknowledging where you are. You can acknowledge where you are and you can know where you're going. So let me just continue. So sorry about that. So the other key point is breaking new ground start with self-discovery of the following. Yeah, get to know your weaknesses and also your strengths. Yeah. So I hope you can get to hear me clearly. So getting to acknowledge your weakness, we'll start off with the self-development that you get to do on a daily basis, yeah? Hello, I hope you can hear me clearly. Can you hear me, guys? You can hear me? Kindly
Yes, we can hear
confirm.
you.
Okay, so let me just go back. Allow me to go back 1 minute. Just to go back to the slide that I was in. 1 minute. So I hope you can see my screen. You can get to see my screen. Let me go to full slide. Okay, so I hope you can get to see my screen. So I was saying, breaking new ground starts with self-discovery of the following: your weaknesses as well as your strengths. So the best way you can get to know about your weaknesses is mostly during the self-development that you get to do for yourself on a daily basis, because vile nilikuwa ninasema, you can tailor make your self-development to ensure that those key things that, you know, could be affecting you, umepata kuzijua. Then once you get to know your weaknesses, you can get to work on that through what you get to read on a daily basis, of course. Then besides that also, getting to identify your strengths and getting to work on them is really important as well. So if you find maybe you're strong at recruiting, getting to have those inaitwaje, getting to find content that will help to strengthen on your strength ni muhimu kabisa kabisa. Then the other point is your success is dependent on how much self-work you put in. So still going back to self-development, really, really important, yeah? How you work on your daily basis is really, really important. How you work on yourself on a daily basis, because when you work on yourself on a daily basis, you're able to get the skills and the knowledge that you need to be able to propel yourself. Then learn to fully depend on yourself and you will be unstoppable. This is really important, because if you get to fully depend on yourself, this means that you're somebody who has drive. You get to look for the content that you can get to consume to develop yourself as a person. And you'll find that you don't have to rely maybe on your upline or anyone to get to have that knowledge on how to prospect, how to recruit people, how to sell, kwa sababu mwenyewe unajituma. So the next point is working on these 4 aspects that will help you. First and foremost, your communication, yeah? So all this I'm tying actually towards the morning routine. I'm tying to the morning routine if you can get to note. So your communication, yeah? The best way you can work on your communication is through self-development, because there's self-development content that can help you with communication. Your attitude, if you're a person who has negative attitude, getting to work on or rather finding content that can help to improve on your attitude is really important. Then also your emotions is really, really important. I mentioned of a book that one can read that is it's called Emotional Intelligence. Yeah, I think imeandikwa na Dan Coleman. I'll need to confirm the title of the author. vile anajiita rather, so that I can get to share pale kwa group and you can get to look out for it. And then your targets, yeah, getting to set down your targets are really important. I remember the key leader who was sharing on this, alikuwa anasema for her for the longest time, one of the things that was holding her back in business was the attitude aspect, yeah. She didn't hakukuwa nasikizana sana na upline, but when she sat down and she identified this key thing, she was able to really work on it, yeah. Then another thing you can do is take content while using the products and increase on the product ranges you use, going back to the using of the products, which is part of the morning routine. So when you get to use the products, you get to show the client that, hey, what I recommend, I also get to use, yeah? So it builds up confidence to clients wanting to use your products. And then you can increase on the ranges that you use. Maybe currently if you're using skincare, you can ensure that you use personal care the next month and all that, yeah? So also you getting to use will encourage those team members of yours who maybe are using limited products to also use the products, yeah? Kwa sababu wakiona, hey, upline wangu amenunua C9 ama anakunywa alo, why can't I buy? They'll eventually get to buy. Okay, so moving on now swiftly. So hadi hapo, in any case, you've gotten value, kindly drop me a number 1 on the chat box as we continue on. So now we are into the daily activities one can get to do to ensure that you get to succeed in your business. Yeah. So number 1 is the number of conversations you start on a daily basis. This can be either online if you're using social media. Also, it can be offline, yeah? If you're doing offline activities, for example, product launches, exhibitions, this is really important. And as we usually say, new blood is the lifeline of this business. And how do you tap into that new blood? You get to do so through the conversations that you get to start on a daily basis, yeah? So ensure that at least kwa siku una target kuongea na kama watu 3 hadi 5 hivi. If you're full time, you can get to do even 10 plus. If you're part time, you can get to do 3 to 5 people, yeah? And always keep track of the conversations that you start on, you know, a daily basis to ensure that kama leo umeanzisha conversations fulani, kesho you get to follow up on the conversations, ndio usiache mtu amehang. Then of course there's contacts you get to collect. You can get to target 5 and more in a day, yeah? It is possible to collect contacts from the online activities as well as the offline activities. So say for example, pale kwa social media, you're doing farms, you've built that relationship. It can get to a point where, you know, you have those contacts that you collect. Unauliza mtu, by the way, do you use WhatsApp for swift communication? Mtu anakwambia, yes, I use WhatsApp. That way you exchange contacts and you're able to reach out on WhatsApp via call or even text. Then another thing is new prospects to call. A prospect can either be a potential client or possibly a potential business builder. Calls are by far the most effective way you can get to connect to a prospect in order to be able to understand their needs much better and offer a solution. Yeah. So unaona pale kwa farms, for example, if you're the kind of person mwenye unatumia Instagram ku connect na prospects wa biashara, farms can enable you to understand what somebody's need is, so that now when you're picking the contact to call them, you just connect the needs to what you have to offer. Also, you can do farms in regards to letting people know that you deal in health and wellness and also the ranges of products that you deal with. And you can find somebody reaching out to you because of something particular they'd want to improve. Still, you connect somebody's needs to the solution that you have to offer. Then the other thing is people I share the business with. How many people do you get to share the business with? Remember, new blood is the lifeline of our kind of business. So each and every day it needs to be a goal that you're sharing the business with people. Yeah. There's one of the sizzles, Linda Lisema, there's two things we sell, either our products or the opportunity. Yeah. So getting to share this opportunity to as many prospects as possible is a great thing to do, because the same way somebody reached out to you and your life was impacted is the same way you can reach out to a certain person and their life is impacted. Then prospect follow-up. This is really important. The fortune is always in the follow-up, yeah? So more effective follow-up involves sharing value in relation to the prospects' wants and needs, yeah? And follow-up is really important because you see, you can reach out to somebody, but then it's not a right time for them to get started in the business, yeah? But maybe if you reach out to them 2 months, 3 months down the line, they could be ready to now get started in business. So ensure that also when you're following up, you're wise in your follow-up. You don't follow up na ile kuuliza mtu, now are you ready to join my business? Are you ready to join my business? Not quite. But if you share value, somebody will see that you care, you're knowledgeable, and they'd want to join your team to be able to tap into all that value that you get to share. Then also it's important to follow up with your stable team members. This enables you to stay in touch with leaders in your organization, yeah? And it shows that you're a leader available for your team. In any case, you know, they may be experiencing difficulty, you can be there to get to support them and share the value that they need to have in order to be able to maneuver through any of the challenges they may be facing, yeah? Yes, and also you'll find that, you know, they can open up to you and tell you, hey, by the way, this is what I've been planning. What do you think about it? Or maybe, hey, I was facing something challenging. It's good that you've reached out to me and I can be able to share with you. Then follow up for the new team members. This is important because you need to keep in touch with the progress of those people that you've brought in the business. Kuweza kujua kama ni name list, wameweza kuandika, have they been able to contact the people? Have they been able to broadcast all that? So it's more or less you getting to offer support to them. And also for those team members, when you unaona kidogo their energy is going low, you reaching out often is a great chance for you to remind them of why they got started in business, yeah? Then client calls. Calls are very, very important, leaders. Yes, I know we have WhatsApp, we have Instagram and all that is good. But as much as, yes, you communicate to your clients via text, always ensure that you're always able to call, because when you call, there's that connection that you're able to establish on call. When a client hears your excitement, hears vile umeweza kushare value and all that. So this calls for sacrifice, of course, setting aside 2 to 3 hours of your time in a day, also airtime to be able to reach out to these people, but it's definitely worthwhile. You can imagine when you establish that connection, you're able to easily lock in a client, and also calls enables you to close orders. Then strike a balance between offline activities as well as social media activities. Hii ni muhimu kabisa kabisa. Don't only focus on one thing peke yake. Actually, there is one thing our upline tells us. If you use social media, get the contact from social media and close your clients offline. In kumaanisha, make an effort to meet with your clients offline. If you're in Nairobi and your client is in Nairobi, just make that effort and go and see them, yeah? Sometimes hiyo tu, hiyo physical connection tu hivi inafungua milango, yeah? Personally, I've had scenarios where once I met up with a client, the orders now start flowing more frequently. So our kind of business calls for humility sometimes. Unaweza pata client anakuambia, hey, niko mbali, niko Joska, but unaona ni mbali, but if you just humble yourself and tell yourself, no matter how far, I'll just go and see them. You never know, you're building that connection that, you know, in future can bring you repeat business and also very good referrals. Then let me share now the key highlights in regards to now the activity bit. Now, the first pointer was focus on high leverage activities. This is really, really important, especially because we are in network marketing. Yes, we market our products, but let's not forget that we market through the network of people that we have. And at the end of the day, that network of people enables us to earn a good income, yeah, a good bonus. So those high leverage activities are very, very important. That meaning at least kama ni recruiting, let it have more of your focus, yeah. Then introduce your clients to other product ranges you have available. This is really, really important, yeah. You're able to upsell, you're able to cross-sell, yeah. Take an example, you have a client who uses C9. They cannot use C9 monthly, yeah, definitely. But kitu kama tooth gel, if you upsell to them tooth gel, or rather cross-sell tooth gel. Tooth gel ni kitu yenye unaweza kukupea repeat business kila mwezi, or if not every month, at least every 3 months or so, yeah. Then run with momentum so that you're not left out. Very, very important. And one of the best ways you can build up on momentum is in your daily activities, ensuring that each and every day you're doing the 7 out of 7 and 8 out of 8, and you're duplicating that to your team. Then focus on people who are worth your time. Yes, we bring in a lot of people, but there's those people you can see they're interested in the business, and there are those who are committed in the business. Interest in the business basically means this person can be there as long as things are going well. When they face a bit of challenge, they go away. But committed people are people who, through the ups and downs, they'll still be there. Yeah. So take your time and focus on those people who are really committed. Yeah. People who show up even maybe kama results sio sawa sana, they are still there. Those are people that you can really, really run with. Yeah. And I remember the leader who mentioned this, Jen Leach, alikuwa anasema, don't beg people to join your business. At the end of the day, if you beg people to join your business, you'll have to beg them to put in the activities. Run with people who have self-drive, yeah? Then have a criteria that you use to analyze people who are serious in your organization. Maybe for you, you gauge seriousness by, do they attend trainings? Do they do activities? Are they responsive to your text? Are they active on groups? Just have that criteria so that you know who you're running with. And those who you're not running with as per se, just love them, yeah, from a distance, yeah, until maybe they decide to now get serious with what they'd want to take courtesy the business. Then always remember that for all activities that you do, it's always a game of numbers. This is really, really important. It's not a matter of luck, yeah. Skills are important, yes. Skills, knowledge is important, but for the most part, yeah, to be able to ensure that you're having consistent results, you need to work with numbers. So you ask yourself, if today I want to sell, for example, a C9, how many people do I need to talk to on a daily basis to ensure that kila siku nauza C9? Focus on those numbers, giving them your best, yeah. Mwenye atasema yes, atasema yes. Mwenye atasema no, ni sawa. Mwenye atasema baadaye ni sawa, yeah. Then, as I mentioned earlier, don't go with a begging bowl. Share value to your prospect about the opportunity until they feel that it's the right time for them and they are now willing to get started in business. Yeah, there's those prospects who they won't see the bigger picture immediately. Wengine wataiona after some time. So be patient with them. If it needs you to just be sharing testimonials to inspire them, well and good. But work with them once they feel it's the right time for them, to avoid issues of dragging, kuvurutana na watu, yeah. Then when you're building a team or helping your team grow, remember that it's not about the pin, but the structure of your team. Hey, this was a powerful highlight, honestly. You know, most of the time, sometimes we get to focus on the pin, yeah? Let's take an example of manager. We focus on the pin, but we forget that the titles don't pay money. It's the structure of the team that you have. Our upline actually says this, yeah? You can be having for a good 48%, yeah? But if 48% is multiplied by 0, you get 0, yeah? That just basically meaning that you can be enjoying, yes, the title can come with good percentages, but if those percentages are not multiplied by productivity at team, you won't get anything at the end of the day. So as much as we are eyeing those steps, which are really, really good, let's focus on the structure, because the structure will ensure that once you get to that position, you're able to earn like somebody in that position, yeah? If maybe you're going supervisor, you're able to earn like somebody who is legitimately a supervisor. If you're manager, you're able to earn like a legitimate manager. And the bonus will make sense when the team is there, yeah? Because when your team wins, you get to win. So this really challenged me to think like, do I have a structure that can seem fit for me to be called a manager? Nikiangalia na niona structure sio sawa, ninajua that I need to get to recruiting so that my structure is okay. And same for all of us, yeah? Then the other key highlight was money should not be the end goal, rather the impact that you will have in someone's life. And I remember this was one of the key highlights from the top leaders, Kina Nkobile, Kina Jane Leach. For them now, it has reached a point that money is not an issue. It's the impact that they'll have in somebody's life, enabling somebody to level up their lifestyle, yeah? So just thinking to myself, if these top leaders who are earning this much are able to still build the business because of the impact, maybe it's high time even for all of us to focus on impact, not money, because yes, it's good to focus on money. Yeah, money answers a lot of things. But when you reach now your money goal, what next? Yeah, when you focus on money, the problem is once you reach that money goal, you may get complacent, but when you focus on the impact, even when you have enough money in your bank, you'll think of that person who doesn't know the opportunity and you'll focus on helping them grow. Then still going back to the point of working with those who are willing, your leaders need to want it more for themselves than you want it for them. Yeah, go the extra mile for those who are committed. Yeah, ukiona mtu anajituma hata wewe as an upline, usikuwa umelegea. Mtu akikwambia yeye ako na team Nakuru nini, do all that you can as an upline to support your person. Then another thing is we are in the business of building and rebuilding. I remember Sive was mentioning this, and getting to hear from such a leader was refreshing, this point particularly, because sometimes, in our business, because attrition is bound to happen, sometimes you may feel that, hey, nimerudi square one, sasa nitafanya nini? Yeah. Kweli ni build ama ni quit? This statement gets to show you that if you feel that you're in the rebuilding phase, it's totally normal. It's part of the journey. So if you feel that maybe you will build, attrition can happen and maybe ukachwa and maybe una team members, just acknowledge that and get to work so that you can get to where you want. Then the stability of a team comes when it's deeply rooted. And how you can get to know your team is deeply rooted is when you are 3 generations deep. If you're able to see the person who you brought, na huyo mtu unaweza ona mtu wake, na huyo mtu wake unaweza ona watu wake, that's how you know you've built a solid structure, so that even when attrition gets to happen, hauwezi kosa kuachwa na mtu. So as much as yes, we are building, let's ensure that we are empowering the people we have to get to build so that we can have a deep foundation. Then creatively be in touch with those who said no. No means next opportunity. And the reason why I wrote this is because this is something that stood out for me in Kigali na pia in South Africa. I remember in Kigali, there was this leader who alikuwa anasema for him, he quit the business, but he came back to the business because of products. And those, hiyo tu kurudi kwa sababu ya products ilimsaidia propel the business all the way to Eagle Manager, imagine. Then the other person who made me really think of this is Jane Leach. Alikuwa anasema for her, there was a time where she was left with, I think, developing 2 managers, and I think afike Diamond, if I'm not wrong. And one of the ladies who was telling her no for the longest time changed her mind and decided to do the business. And that was one of the legs that contributed to her going Diamond Manager, yeah? And she said she was really persistent in following up with the lady. So same for us. Hata ukipatana na wao watu wenye wamesema no, don't brush off somebody literally kabisa. It could be no just for that time, but maybe an year from now, it would be an opportunity that they'd be really open to it. So be in touch with them. Kama ni ku comment kwa status, yani just keeping in touch in the most creative way. It's sawa kabisa. Then keep your lifestyle at leader level. This was another major highlight for me. Where keep your lifestyle at leader level, not income level. In Kobila alikuwa anasema work ethic is everything. Increase your work ethic and not spending ethic. If you feel you're fired up, kindly drop some fire emojis pale kwa chat box as I explain this point. So what she meant is, if for example, you're at supervisor level or at manager level, instead of being carried away by mambona, the money that comes with that step, ask yourself, somebody who would be at supervisor, how would their routine look like? What time would they wake up? What time would they put in the work and all that? Yoni, really, really important, yeah? Really, really important, yeah? If it's manager, somebody who is typically at manager level, work ethic yake definitely haiwezi kuwa kama novice customer, sorry, preferred customer ama assistant supervisor ama supervisor. Work ethic ya mtu wako manager iko way higher. So let that work ethic drive you. If you're at manager, how many people should a typical manager talk to? Na usiangalie from the point that mtu mwenye ako manager sasa ni kurelax. Hapana, just look at it in this way. The higher the position, the more the responsibilities, yeah? So you're able to maintain your level with the ethic of work you put in, because as long as your work ethic is okay, your money will be okay as well. But if your work ethic is not okay, here the money will not make sense. So work ethic is everything, and it boils down to the 7 out of 7 and the 8 out of 8, yeah, which is of course cuts across for each one of us. So as I finish off, I can share this. Manage your team's expectations from the start. This is really, really important as an upline. Sometimes what we get to do is just focus on the good that Forever has to offer, which is good, focusing, sharing the good and all. But sometimes we forget to tell our new people that they'll face no's. People who are close to them sometimes may reject what they have to offer, and that it's okay, that they need to move on swiftly. So when you manage your team's expectations, even when they face certain obstacles, they'll remember that, you know what, my upline mentioned this to me, so it's part of the process. Then never underestimate the power of small beginnings. This really stood out for me because Percy and Kobile, sorry, they shared that for them starting off the business, they were looking for an extra 5,000 rand. Yeah, but that goal got to really grow and grow and grow until to a point where walikuwa nasema their network is their net worth is averagely 1 billion rands. Yeah, for those who are there, I'm sure you get to remember. But the key thing they emphasized is don't underestimate where you're starting from. Walikuwa nasema if they didn't start off from that goal ya 5,000 rand, maybe it will not have grown to where they've gotten to. Then another key highlight is before you want to retain people, get to recruit massively. This was shared by Sive. Alikuwa anasema that before na hii it goes back to your point, not point, rather a concept that we've had a lot, hiyo ya manage people. Do not try to micromanage people. That is not the right way to do things. Don't try to micromanage people. Yeah. Focus on building. The sifting process it happen awali when they are meant to build the business, they'll be left. They'll still stick in the business. So focus on recruiting massively, then sifting process iki happen unaona you've been left with key leaders. Those are people now you can focus on retaining. Yeah. Then help your team develop the mindset of an entrepreneur. Hey, this was really a major highlight. And coming to think of it, this is a big, big thing because sometimes because of our upbringing, we are brought up with that mindset of kukua employed, yeah. And still one of our uplines was really in one of the team events we have, she was really breaking this down. Alikuwa nasema, if you find it's easy to get to know whether you have a mindset of an entrepreneur or somebody who is self-employed. Alikuwa nasema, for somebody who is an entrepreneur, this is somebody who is self-driven. They don't have to kusimamiwa na mtu ndo afanye kazi. So help your team to understand that in this business, hakuna boss mwenye atakuja kumuuliza what and what and what and what, why haven't you done this and all that, but still they need to have their own self-drive to build their business and to respect their word, yeah? For example, if somebody sets for themselves to do 4K credits this month. They need to really respect their word and put in that effort to achieve that goal that they set for themselves. Because if it was in an employment setting na unaambiwa ufanye 4cc, utafanya juu chini kufanya ndio usikwe usifutwe kazi. But how come when it's you telling yourself that you don't keep your word? So part of developing your mindset, your entrepreneur, is keeping your word. If you tell yourself you're going to do something, get to do it, because that is how you build your character and esteem. Then the other key highlight was setting non-negotiables when it comes to daily activities. What are your non-negotiables? Which activities can you say you cannot go without doing? Is it the 7 out of 7? Yeah. Is it the 8 out of 8? Yeah. Hizo ni lazima zikue things that you can get to control, especially activities. Don't play around with it, because for most of the time we cannot control how prospects will react and our clients. But if we focus on controlling the game of numbers in the activities, one way or another, it will influence even the response that we get, because you cannot get no forever. You'll get yes many no's, but eventually itafika yes. But that will boil down to if you have focused on talking to a lot of people. Then qualifying for incentives is a game changer. And when this was mentioned, I just thought of the basic incentive that for most of our teams we have, the 5cc's dinner incentive. And I got to remember that one of the key things that helped me qualify for manager was doing 5 and focusing on having as many people as possible qualify for 5cc, because with 5cc, that means averagely 50K profit, and that is a plus. So the small incentives, no matter how small, no matter how big, they count up. And when you build a culture of qualifying for incentives, these small incentives, you build up the stamina to even go for the larger incentives we have. Then the other key point is you learn how best to coach your teams through trainings, because when you get trained, you get the knowledge that you can get to pour out to your team, and them implementing helps you to have a productive team. Then help your team break through a negative mindset. And the best way you can get to do this is getting to teach your team how they can get to do mindset training to be able to break free from that negative mindset. Also, speaking words of affirmation to your team is really, really important here to ensure that you build on their esteem. Yeah. Like for me personally, I remember when I was starting off, kitu kama 5cc nilikuwa naona ikikuwa mountain, but because our upline used to tell us repeatedly that you can do it, you can do it, sasa inafika point that unaamini sasa kabisa unaweza kufanya. Then the other key highlight is creating a safe space for everyone. This is really, really important, and it calls for social intelligence. You need to be the kind of person that your success line can be free to open up to you, because they know you're not the kind of upline who you'll go and make their business gossip. Yeah, maybe success line amekwambia they are struggling with 1, 2, 3 things, then you go and make it a topic of discussion. Not at all. It's not right for you as a leader to do that. So being a safe space is really, really important, so that people can get to open up to you about their challenges, and as a leader, you can get to help them. Then as I finish off, make your downlines your business, not your uplines or crosslines. So the person who was sharing this key gem was saying, focus on your business, focus on your business going down, you and your downlines. Yeah. Don't focus much energy on sijui upline amefanya nini, because at the end of the day, your upline's business does not contribute to your check, neither will your crosslines business contribute to your check. So focus on what puts money in your pocket. Yeah. And hand in hand with this point, they were saying, don't focus on too much gossip and all that. Focus your energy on where it matters most. Then going to work often with your team is very key, because their success is also your success. Still, it marries with that first point, making your downlines your business. Na pia ukiangalia pale kwa the check that you get, when you look at the leaders written on your check, mostly in your downlines. So if you help your downline succeed in one way or another, you're succeeding as an upline. Then showing up physically for trainings is really, really important. Very important, Wase, especially if you're in Nairobi. Make it a point to attend the trainings that we usually have every Monday, Wednesday, Friday pale kwa ofisi. Yeah, and nothing beats showing up, and showing up is really interesting, by the way. Ile siku yenye unaamua tu show up, unapatanga client fulani anakupigia ati niko tao nilete something hapa. Yani there is those rewards that you get just by deciding to get to show up. So never take it for granted, even when you're in different places, not in Nairobi. If it's in Nakuru and you're meeting up with your team, always show up for your team yenye iko huko. If you're in Mombasa, showing up in the circle or in the events that you happen huko ni muhimu. Talking of which, on Saturday we are having an event in Malindi, Nakuru, we have an event also happening in Nairobi. So let's purpose to all get to show up. Then take your financial life seriously and always be financially prepared or work towards it. Work towards having financial freedom, because I remember the leader who was sharing this was saying sometimes life happens, things get to happen, and suddenly you realize, hey, I need a lot of money. So you can imagine, if you've not been taking your financial life seriously, who will come to rescue you? So you need to really work on having good finances so that you ni kama una build inaitwaje, you build shelter for the rainy seasons that might come. Yeah, then set up a personal, now finishing off with financial tips that were shared. Set up a personal and business budget. So personal budget ina include maybe budget ya vitu kama rent, electricity, mambo kama hiyo. Separate it from business budget. Business budget can be money to run ads, money you need to buy stock, money you need for fare to go to different places and all that. Yeah, don't mix. Yeah, and ensure that you always invest in your business. Always, in a negotiable, you must invest in your business. You need to use money to make money. Then work to save up 6 to 12 months of expenses. This was a point shared by Nkobile Nakasi. Walikuwa nasema, ensure that you have good amount of income still to save up for the rainy days. Yeah, they mentioned of having an emergency fund. Then, and a key thing to note is Forever will always continue to pay. So continue to commit to putting in the work. And this we've seen. Yeah, this company has been tried and tested. During COVID, ilikuwa inalipa watu. Hata ile time yenye kulikuwa na travel restrictions, bado wenye waliqualify walipata the money that they need to. So if you see that the company you're working with is that committed to ensure that they pay you for your productivity, kwa nini usijitume? Yeah, hapo that should be more than enough fuel kujituma kuhakikisha that you're always moneyed, be it in profits, in form of profits or bonuses. Then the second last thing is, even as you diversify your income, do not lose focus on your primary source of income. Yeah, it could be that for you, your primary source of income is Forever. So if Forever enables you to earn from different income streams, weka hiyo pesa mahali yenye haitakuhitaji sana kukua physically present. Something like money market fund, stock, bonds. Hiyo ukiweka pesa ina work for you even whether you're there or not. So where you invest your income is really important to ensure that the main place you're getting your income from, in this case, Forever Living products, your attention is not divided. Then as I finish off, GEM bonus is the pinnacle in regards to financial freedom. This was really emphasized. And I also remember when we were in Zanzibar, Enosalema alikuwa anasema sana kuhusu GEM bonus. I think you get to tap into this once you get to go to Sapphire. Once you're Sapphire or maybe above Sapphire, you find that your bonus increases by a certain percentage. And that percentage, hata ikikuwa 1%, vile Enos alikuwa anasema, it's a huge leap. Yeah. So I also remember one of the ladies alikuwa anasema her first managers convention that she attended, she also had this point. And when she came to the next managers convention, she had qualified for GEM bonus, imagine, and she's never missed out. Actually, yeye ndo alikuwa na train concerning, she had a bit of training concerning finances, and she mentioned this point. Yes, so I hope we've all been able to get value. Apologies for the inconvenience that happened later on. I mean, sorry for the inconvenience that happened earlier on. I'm sure, however, that we've been able to follow through till the very end. And I'd want to say thank you for your time, leaders. Let's get to implementing the value shared, Papa, and see you at the top and see you at work as well. Thank you so much, Emmanuel.
Thank you too, Mercy. That was awesome. You've reminded us of different pointers. I don't know what the listeners got. I want to believe they took notes. I looked at positivity. I looked at work ethic, which I think is important, showing up when necessary. Daily actions. It's important to put daily actions, what we do every day, as you focus on your targets for the week, for the month, for the quarter, for the year. Having a proper mindset in terms of growth, now that you're talking about growing the business, growing your team, growing your finances, which also is impactful in terms of being an entrepreneurial mindset as well. And of course, communication. All this wraps up with communication, and everything is tied up there. So thank you so much, Mercy, for that. That was an awesome summary that you took from the managers convention back in February. And I believe with these notes, everybody is well captured, well inspired, and well motivated to take it to the next level. Otherwise, I'd wish to wrap it up there. See you tomorrow. We have products training. And as leaders, it is ethically important to show up. We'll try have it as hybrid, so online and offline, but please attend at least one session. Saturday, we have a masterclass in the office, and I understand there's Nakuru also happening and Malindi. And then next week, Saturday, we have a success day. So please buy the tickets so that we are able to attend. Otherwise, thank you so much all. Wish you the very best, and God bless. Bye-bye.